Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Marni Goldman. Mrs. Marni, how are you doing, ma?
I am doing terrific. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Marni. Firstly, you are a spiritual life coach. You are also a PTSD survivor and an author. Can you please, ma, discuss more about yourself and how you're doing currently now, ma?
Okay, well, I was born into a lifetime of trauma where my mother tried to kill herself and my biological father left when I was 4 months old. So I genetically and circumstances were behind the eight ball my whole life. So, due to the amount, I've had a lifetime of trauma, abandonment, physical abuse, emotional abuse. I had like four fathers by the time I was 12. And when I was 47, I was diagnosed with a host of disorders: ADHD, OCD, depression, anxiety, and pretty much every disorder there is. So that's when I realized, wait a second, I could have been something my whole life. I'm not crazy. I'm not lazy. I'm not stupid. All I needed for me was medication. And I was shamed for having triggers, unhealed, unaware triggers, if that makes sense. And that's when I just at 40, I think it was like 47, 48 years old, when I made a video on Facebook one random day telling people I have depression. I have suicidal ideation. Don't
Mm.
shame people. Don't judge people. And I started this mission where I wrote my book, my podcast. I do motivational speaking. My mess ultimately became my message.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Marley. And that shows how really strong you are. You have a very lovely story, and it really, really inspires a lot of people. You turned it to something that could heal you, and that was very nice. And can you please, Mrs. Marley, discuss with us more about your book, which is True to Myself? And do
True
you
to
also
myself.
have more books you are writing in the coming future, ma?
Yes. It's so interesting. When I stopped my book at the end of 2019, right before COVID, so much has happened since then that, yeah, I do have another book in the works. But my books, I started out when I was 17, when my mother, I'm from Miami, Florida. And I grew up in a very glamorous but very dysfunctional world.
Mm.
And at 17, my mother was addicted to crack cocaine. So my book starts the night I was left on an interstate gas station in 1987 after we were thrown out of our apartment for my mother's crack addiction. And I was left, thrown out physically from my car and my mother's crack addicted boyfriend that drove away with all my belongings. And there were no texts, you didn't have Uber, and
Mm.
I didn't have any family members that would help me. So I basically have been on my own since 17. And I say that's not the first of my troubles or the last. I have had just I was only loved if I looked a certain way. I wasn't allowed to share, to be who I truly was. I had to be thin, be pretty, not talk unless I was supposed to talk. Then nobody would let me live with them. And at 19, I lived with someone who physically abused me for 2 years. I slept on the floor. I've been knocked down so many times that I just keep rising. And I just love that every time something bad happens, I find something good and I share that with people and they don't feel alone anymore.
Yes, I completely agree. Your story really, really touched people. It makes people feel like, yes, I think people outside are also facing things like this. Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny, for turning it into something that will help a lot of people and
Yes,
also help yourself. That's very, very nice. Thank you so much, ma.
thank
And
you.
firstly, I would like to ask, what do you think are the most common reasons people lie, ma?
Well, people lie because we don't want anyone mad at us. We are afraid of confrontation. And it's so easy to just say the truth right up front because it's not the lie, it's when you find out about the lie. And people, I think, nobody wants anybody to be mad at us. We don't want to hurt people's feelings.
Mm,
There's various different types of lies. Like if my daughter says, "Does this outfit make me look okay?" Of course, I'm going to say yes. But I can ask somebody a question and I know they're lying to me, and I just look and I'm like, really? You could tell by their eye movement, body language. People lie for sometimes it's they have a compulsion. It's one, I think people really don't want confrontation, of course.
mm,
We don't want anybody to be mad at us. You know what I find out though? When people lie, it could be something of such a small matter, but it's not even the lie. It's the when you find out that they lied to you. It's so much easier to tell the truth, which has taken me a long time to do. But I have learned to say, yes, I messed up. Yes, I own it. Yes, I did do that. And
mm.
it just makes life so much easier. You don't become when people lie, they become defensive, argumentative, and I just think people are just so afraid of any kind of confrontation. There's the kind of lies also where you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like, does this outfit look okay? You'll be like, sure. What are you going to do? Say no? But, lying, it could take years to build a relationship, and that one lie can ruin everything.
Yes, I completely agree. Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny. And I do not know if usually also know more about the body language that, are needed to know if someone is lying. What do you think are some key body language that could spot that someone might be lying to someone, ma?
I notice it because I use it sometimes when you ask someone a question, and if they look away real quick, they don't even realize they're doing it,
Mm,
they're lying. And their body language. Also, if they start to get fidgety or or repeat a question like, what'd you say? And then have you so they could think about it for a second. But the one thing I've noticed is the eyes. You can ask somebody a question and have, did you have milk in your cereal? Yes. Did you put just random questions, and then you could see the difference of truth and lie, how somebody talks to you looking you in the eye, and when they say something that's not true, how they vaguely like look away. That is one of the biggest giveaways. Or when they ramble too much. Like, did you leave the dishes in the sink? No, I wouldn't leave the dishes in the sink. Why would, just going on rather than saying, yes, I did. So people tend to exaggerate and become more defensive when they lie.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny. And I would like to go to the point of cultural differences. You know, I myself and you, we are from different, culture background. It could also influence the way one could, have this line character. How do you think cultural differences influence what we perceive as line behavior?
I think it all comes from, like you say, from our homes and where
Mm,
we grow up and our beliefs. I think what some families or would tolerate versus other kind of nationalities or ethnicities. It's very hard because in certain cultures, like children have so much more respect for their parents than they do here
yes.
in America. For example, I bet if you told your parents or an elder or anyone you respect to go F themselves, that wouldn't fly over so well. where certain cultures are much more strict and some are, they don't care. But it starts from home, and a lot of unfortunate generational trauma has been passed down, and behavioral trauma has been passed down. So people don't know really the proper way to behave other than what they have been taught by their family.
Yes, completely agree. Thank you so much, Mrs. Marni. And I also like to go to the points of misconception. What do you also think are the common misconception people have about lying behavior?
I think people are, I think sometimes people don't realize that telling the truth could save them a lot of
Mm,
peace and aggravation and um, possible anger and arguments in the future because it always comes out. So, what I think is that just say it the way it is. There's no reason to lie when you can discuss it in a healthy way. If you did something you didn't follow through with an arrangement you made. Yes, I'm going to go drop off your car for you at the car dealership. And somebody says, did you do it? Yeah, I did it, but you didn't really do it. It would be much easier to say, do you know what? I apologize. I've been backed up today. I promise I'll get to it immediately. I am so sorry. What could somebody do by that? But rather than go, yeah, I did, and then you get caught lying, and then you'll never believe them again.
yes, completely agree. Thank you so much, Mrs. Marni. And how do you also personally balance intuition with evidence when determining if someone is lying?
Always go with your gut. You know, you could just feel it. It's like this intuitive instinct. So that's when I start to ask someone questions when I know they're lying, because you just have that gut, and our guts never lie to us. Our intuition is always on point. And that's when I notice they'll start to look away with their eyes real quick or get fidgety or, turn away from you body language wise. Um, so it's pretty much so much easier and such a peaceful way when you can not have anybody lose that trust or faith in you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny. And there are also probably lie detection tools that are also being used when it comes to lying and stuff like that. What role do you think physiological tools like the NLP, that is the neuro linguistic programming, play in lie detection?
I'm not very familiar with that, but I think people sometimes believe their lies so much that they don't know they're lying. So sometimes it might be even hard to detect because they believe their own lies. That's a very disturbed spectrum of it, but I'm not very much aware on the NLP and much of that.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mani. And can you also share a success story? Because you also have some personal story. How you probably understand lying cues and how you think it has also helped someone in a significant situation.
Well, when people see red flags all the time in situations, our gut knows this isn't right, but we want it to be because we think this is what we need. So we turn red flags pink to see the best situation in people. And, but our gut knows. And if you could just go with your intuition because we waste so much time trying to get people's approval and to like us when for no other reason than our own insecurities when we know in a minute or 30 seconds with somebody if they're good for our to be around or not. It's just I wish people just listen to their instincts more.
Yes, I completely agree, Mrs. Mani. And listening to oneself really, really helps. It also bring back the personal humility and comfort someone needs. And also, I also personally think if someone is personally humble and someone is personally just, honest with whatever he or she sees around him, he or she will also find it very easy to say the truth wherever the circumstances is, whether it's good or bad. So I completely appreciate you, Mrs. Manny, for that. And lastly, what's one piece of advice would you like to give to someone who wants to become more, who want to probably know more in dictating lies, or who want to personally try to change when it comes to lying and lying? Like, what advice can you give to such person who can groom the habits of telling the truth, ma?
It's really it's staying true to yourself and knowing that whatever you're discussing with somebody, um, they are going to not like you any more or any less, but rather respect you. When you tell it's hard because we don't want, again, confrontation or anyone to be mad at us, but owning up what you might have done no matter the circumstance. And when you say it from your heart, like not defensively, but truly, I apologize. I messed up. I apologize. I did not do this. Or yes, I did do this. Or yes, I did say that. And but you are truly heartfelt and you did not mean it. Everything, it's like such a more peaceful way to live. My dog is barking, I apologize. Versus than trying to always cover, because one lie becomes another lie. It's just take that one baby step of telling the truth just once and you'll see it becomes a habit. Consistency will bring that confidence. And today it's like I am so honest with people. They'll say, why did you do this? And I'll say, I did, and I didn't mean it that way. I apologize. And it worked. So I just say be humble, be honest, and be true to yourself.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, ma. And lastly, there's a question I normally ask, ma. From the ancestors, from the forefathers, there are a lot of things that is missing during our ancestral time, you know, that is not in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing would be, ma?
I think empathy and compassion. I think people need to stop shaming people. I think you have to just stay in your lane and mind your own business and not care what anybody does if it doesn't affect you, and protect your peace. If somebody brings a drop of toxicity or negativity, you don't need them. Doesn't matter. You don't need that in your life. Life is too short. We don't get do overs. So, anyone that you're going to interact with should only bring out the best in you and not the stressed in you.
Yes, I completely agree. A lot of people just like to give themselves unnecessary headache. This life is a simple world. If we just do what is right and do what is necessary at the right time,
That's
things will
right.
go smoothly and things will go excellent. And you also have a very, very lovely story, very emotional one that people could probably know have really, really grown from. I want to sincerely thank you for, passing this through the world to heal yourself and to heal the world as a whole. And I also want to sincerely thank you for speaking on the topic on how someone can also improve him or herself when it comes to telling lies. Thank you so much, Mrs. Manny.
Thank you so much for having me.
All
Thank
right,
you.
man. Have a
Okay,
wonderful
bye
day.
bye.
And your
You
dog.
too. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.